Coach, rematch with GW at GW this week. Talk about them and how we will match up with them.
Yeah, they have played well, even though they've lost a couple here. They've got the big kid Kavanaugh, averaging 17 a game, 7 rebounds a game. Watanabe's playing really, really well. He's playing a ton of minutes for him right now. He's playing well. They've changed their lineup. They've moved the kid Cena off the ball some, and they're playing some other guys at the guard spot. So, I think we're going to need to play well on the road. We've still got a better game and better games in us on the road, and so we need to take our best effort, especially on the defensive end, up to George Washington. We've been not very good defensively on the road.
Has proximity made them more of a rival than they were before?
Well, I think proximity, and we play we play them twice a year, Davidson twice a year, Richmond twice. Those teams are pretty much geographically within our A10 footprint. So I think anytime you play somebody a couple times a year and you got a couple cracks at them and the crowds are good at both places. I know they're having a whiteout tomorrow night, so it'll be a good crowd up there. I think it adds to the nature of the game.
Any takeaways from the game here? I mean, we handled them pretty well, but
what we did here won't win on the road. It's a totally different deal when you go on the road. So give the same effort we gave here, that's not going to get it done on the road. I mean, Kavanaugh got in foul trouble. That was a huge part of it. He got 3 fouls in the first half. They're a totally different team when he's out. The kid Steves is playing a lot better for him, the transfer from Harvard. He's played more minutes lately. He's playing quite a bit better for him. I mean, they played really well at Rhode Island. They played well at Richmond. They gave themselves opportunities to win both those games. So it'll be a totally different game.
Have you ever seen, not even been involved with, but seen a game end like yours ended on Saturday? And
No.
What do you?
I can't talk about it. They're not going to let me talk about the A10 wants to refer to the statement, so I'm not talking about Saturday. We're talking about moving forward. I haven't seen any ending like that, no.
But in taking, what do you tell your kids about?
We shouldn't have been in
in
that position. I told my kids we had a 7-point lead with 2 minutes left, and we should have closed the game out better. That's what we talked about.
How do you work on that going forward? How do you work on it?
We work on it every day. We've worked on it every day. You've heard me talk about 6-minute games. We've worked on it every day.
Not to talk about Saturday, but the situation you're in the game where Doug does what he does, how often do you practice, in the course of practice, situational awareness?
We hadn't practiced that situation, obviously, but we practice situational stuff quite a bit.
How do you replicate pressure on a free throw shooter in practice?
Different ways. You got punishment if you don't make, you got the guys standing around them. We got a couple 4 or 5 different games we play that try to replicate pressure. But certainly you can't replicate game pressure. You've got to go to your routine and trust your routine.
Did you have any doubt he was going to make that shot?
Of course you did. I mean, it's a tough shot to make, and he stuck up and made it in front of, 5,500 screaming people. But we had faith in Jaquan. He was our best free throw shooter. And, he's our senior leader, and hope he can step up and knock it down, and he did.
Coach, when you face a team for a second time that you guys, I know it's all road, it's the road is different. When you face a team that you guys pretty much ran over the first time, do you feel a need to kind of address with your kids to kind of not get too complacent when it comes to that?
Well, we beat George Mason last year by 24 at home and got beat at George Mason by 7. So hopefully we've learned something from that. That didn't work out so hot for us when we went up there. So, like I said, what wins at home won't win on the road, and you have a lot of advantages at home, and we've just been a terrible defensively on the road. So if we don't guard much better and we want to get into a scoring fest, we're walking a tightrope, a high wire, and it's going to bite us.
Is there some element of relying too much on the crowd to kind of jazz them up to play defense like that?
No, I don't think so. I think we defend pretty well in the Bahamas. There weren't a whole lot of people at some of those games. So, that's just, it's just sticking to what we're doing.
For a home game, your guys going through it just a normal day, go to class, come here, shoot around, pregame meal, have a game?
For a home game?
Yeah.
Yeah. But we have the same routine on the road. We do the same stuff every home game and every road game. Same routine, same timing, all that stuff.
But the night before, they're at their apartments, they're at their dorm rooms or whatever.
Correct.
That, maybe it's just me, but it seems to me that, every year it's tough to win on the road. This year it seems like it's been even harder to win on the road. Virginia Tech goes on the road, and it's like they're two different teams. Notre Dame has gone on the road, and it's like they're two different teams. Has that jumped out at you, or do you just think this is just a regular?
I think it's just a regular year. I think there's so much more scrutiny on everything now, everything that's done. If you win this, you got to look at the totality of the season, and so I think every single game has such pressure on it now with the way things are covered and Twitter and all that sort of stuff. I think maybe it's more pronounced now because people are more aware of every result, where maybe they weren't as aware before of everything that's going on. But I mean, I read somewhere I think the SEC teams may have a winning record on the road, or they're winning. I think I heard that on a broadcast somewhere or read it somewhere. Like the SEC teams are having a heyday on the road with each other. It's like almost a 50-50 split, I think. You'll have to check my facts on that, but I think it's the SEC. But the road teams have won quite a bit, so I think it depends on situations and matchups, and a lot of it depends on when you catch somebody. You could have the better team, but you catch somebody at home who's coming off of 2 losses, they're going to be desperate, and you're going to get a much better effort from them than you typically, a lot of it's timing too.
What about crowd size? Do you guys respond better to a more vocal, hateful
you gotta
crowd on the road?
you gotta
Like
prepare.
Fordham, you guys didn't play well at Fordham, and there was like 100 people there, it looked like.
Yeah, we didn't play well at Davidson either, and the place was packed. So I mean, you got to play with whoever's there. You got to play in front of them. So that's our job. Those are excuses if you don't like playing in front of too many people, or don't like playing in front of not enough people. I mean, you've got to play. I mean, truth be told, Tim, you're there. You're at the NCAA tournament last year. We're playing at noon in Oklahoma City, or 1 o'clock or whatever at Oklahoma City. You guys were there. How many people are in the arena when you're playing? And they're all waiting for Oklahoma in the next game. So about halfway through your first game, people get there. But we had our little section of VCU people. They got their little section of Oregon State people. And you could have shot a cannon in the upper deck and not killed anybody. You got to. You're going to play in different venues if you're fortunate enough to get to that, where you got to play in front of. I think we'd all agree the NCAA tournament's relatively important, right? And you playing in the first game of a session, you could be playing in front of nobody, and if or you could be playing like we were that Sunday in front of half the state of Oklahoma. Like that's part of it. So you got to be able to play in both venues, I guess is what I'm saying.
From a coach's perspective, how impressive was the Patriots' comeback on Sunday night?
Impressive. They got great mental toughness. I thought they imposed her well. I only got to see the fourth quarter, but I thought they posed her well. I thought the Falcons kind of wore down there.
Anything else, guys?
All right.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach, appreciate it.